Good morning. I want to welcome everyone here. My name is Steve Clark. I am president of the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce, and I get to be your MC today and participate in the ribbon cutting. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you so much for being here. This is an important day in our great city. It's an important day for all of our citizens, not only in Fayetteville, but all of Northwest Arkansas. Today we have a dedication of a facility and the equipment in the facility that is unlike anything that's been here before. And because of that, it really captures the spirit of what we think our community is. And Fayetteville has always been a pioneering community, being the first at virtually everything, and this is no difference here today. So I'm delighted to be your MC and to thank you all for taking the time out to be here. Our first speaker is going to be the Honorable Lionel Jordon from the City of Fayetteville. I'm always thrilled when I get the chance to introduce the mayor. I said to him just a moment ago, and I say to you, this day would not be happening without him. As I worked with Cleet and as I worked and we worked together to see what we could do to bring this system to our city and the things that could be done with Blue and Green. We spent a lot of hours in the mayor's office and laid out for him what the vision could be. It didn't take him but about a second to figure out that that was the vision he wanted to make happen. Because of his bold leadership, because of his concern about water quality and water resources, and knowing the impact that that has on how our city and how our region develops, he made it all possible. He's a great leader, I believe the best mayor in the great state of Arkansas. Give a welcome to Lionel Jordon, Mayor of the City of Fayetteville.
Good morning, everybody. Isn't this a great day? It's a great day in a great city, isn't it? Don't you love this city? Absolutely. I certainly want to thank Steve Clark and the Chamber of Commerce help putting this together. I am fortunate, and I don't mind saying this. I believe that I have the best Chamber of Commerce and the best Chamber of Commerce president in the state of Arkansas. I'll give them a big round of applause if you would today. Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here at the Noland Wastewater Treatment Facility to celebrate the successful operation of HyDOZ unit. Yay! And I'm going to talk a little history here since this plant opened in 1987 under the leadership of another great mayor, Paul Noland. It was then and remains now a technologically advanced treatment facility that protects the quality of water flowing into the White River and Beaver Lake. And I see today a good friend of mine, Alan Fortenberry, sitting out in the audience, and through his leadership and the Beaver Water District, I want to thank them for the work that they do to keep our water safe. Thank you, Alan. Also want to thank some of our other great partners. ADEQ is here represented today. Good to see you. CH2M and Blue and Green for keeping us on the forefront of technologies for wastewater treatment. And of course, I want to thank my utilities director, Tim Nylander, and his staff for all they work. Thank you all. Let's give all our partners a round of applause. I remember back, doesn't seem that long ago, but I remember back to my days on the city council. As I sat in the Water Sewer Committee in 2006, when this startup business at the University of Arkansas Technology Park brought us their first innovation, a system that used oxygen to replace the traditional chemical dosing in the wastewater treatment. That was Blue and Green. And the treatment was called XDOX, the supersaturated dissolved oxygen injector. The XDOX used less oxygen, less power, and was much more environmentally friendly. I understood then that we were on to something, not just for enhanced wastewater treatment, but for the nurturing of an entrepreneurial culture we fuel here in this great city that we call the startup city of the South. So back then we started a pilot and it worked. It helped our environment, our city, our costs, and ultimately the people of this great city. So here we are again, and we are delighted to celebrate the next great first-in-kind technology, the successful installation and operation of HyDOZ, our hyper-concentrated dissolved ozone system for disinfecting wastewater. I had to work on that one a little bit. This new system saves the need and cost of aeration while removing the contaminants such as pharmaceuticals and personal care products. Once again, the city is making an investment in another blue and green product. The HyDOZ will, with the trust that this innovative technology will further enhance the environment, improve our precious water resource, and enable and contribute to the quality of life for Fayetteville citizens and our neighbors. Fayetteville is always on the cutting edge. That's why we do what we do. Today's announcement is not the first in leadership for environmentally progressive technologies, and it won't be the last. We were also the first in Arkansas to enact a streamside protection ordinance, the first 3-star sustainable community in Arkansas, the first city in Arkansas to adopt an urban agriculture ordinance. We are developing our energy action plan, and clean water will always be at the heart of all of our sustainable programs in this city. We are always willing to try new things. As I always tell the staff, we'll throw 10 things out there. If we hit on 3, we're in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Right? You know, folks, if you never depart, you never arrive. If you stay right where you are, that's where you'll always be. This city is never going to stay just where it is or just good enough. We're going to go places we've never been before, and we're going to move this city upward and forward at all times. So everybody get your seatbelt on, because we're just getting started. We're willing to try those new things, and once again, we've stepped up to the plate, and we've hit another home run here. I applaud the collaboration between CH2M, Blue and Green, ADEQ, the University of Arkansas, the City of Fayetteville. Thank you all. Thank you for that partnership, and thank you for the great solutions, innovative solutions that we're moving this city forward to do. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good job. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for loving Fayetteville. Makes it a fun place to live, because if you're not familiar with the mayor, you'll see him all over town, and Saturdays are really his busiest day, because he starts at the farmer's market when it opens at 7, works his way around the farmer's market for an hour or two, and then the town center and the square, and then the library, and then Dixon Street, and then on to whatever else happens that day. And so his passion is infectious, and we're very proud that we get to have a city led by someone like Lionel Jordon. Our second speaker is from CH2M. He's the Managing Director and Senior Vice President of Operations. CH2M has been a wonderful partner for our city in so many ways, both as their participation in our city, they participate in the chamber, they participate in other things that happen for our city, but as they have worked with our city and utilities as we deal with clean water and clean water issues. So, Steve Meininger, please come up.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mayor Jordon. You're a hard act to follow. Also, just want to thank Don Marr, Tim Nyander, Blue and Green, and all the other partners that participated in this important project. And I greatly appreciate the opportunity to join in the celebration today. One of the fortunate things in my role is to get to join in major milestones at different cities and communities we serve, and this is a very important day to us as a company. And traveling here yesterday, I was reflecting on how fortunate we are to get to work with a city like Fayetteville. Communities that aren't afraid of change, who embrace new ideas, lead innovation, want to be on the leading edge, not waiting for everyone else to prove it works before they're willing to try something different, and whose leaders and residents look for ways to serve each other and get the very best from their public assets, including their wastewater utilities, which many of us in the business know isn't always at the top of the priority list on investments for cities, but in Fayetteville, it's right up there and considered with everything else. The launch of this HyDOZ technology here at the Noland facility is a great example of Fayetteville's willingness to invest in the public health and environment now and for the future. 2017 marks our 30th year of partnership with the City of Fayetteville, operating their wastewater facilities and supporting the biosolids management program. And our partnership has grown, it's changed, but it's built on a lot of trust and a lot of collaborative spirit. And our partnership has supported a lot of innovations over the years, from environmental restoration, clean energy projects that we've undertaken together. And today's another example of that journey of improvement and innovation. And this technology is a great example of that forward-looking, leading-edge decision by the city. And in this case, they're not just looking at meeting today's permit and doing it at the lowest cost possible. They're looking out ahead. What are those emerging contaminants? What are those things we should be removing in the future? And let's start doing it today and not wait till somebody forces us to do it. And during our partnership, we've won a lot of recognition from industry and regulators for operations, management, quality, sustainability. These are shared values that we have as a company and the city of Fayetteville has, which is why they're one of our absolutely most premier partners that we have. And all of the more than 110 awards that we've collectively won over that 30 years are joint partnership awards that we can all celebrate. Going back to 1997, winning the EPA Region 6 Environmental Excellence Award, to 2016, where the city won the Utility of the Future Award. We've won as partners, and today, in this case, there are many other key partners involved in the success. And it's not an award, but we're celebrating a joint success, and those celebrations lead to more and more success. I'm a huge optimist, and I believe if you think positive things, good things are going to happen, and this city is all about focusing on the positive. Also, June is National Safety Month, and I couldn't miss the opportunity to recognize our team in front of all these important representatives for the city and others. Safety is a passion of mine. It's a relentless focus for our company, and our team's gone over 10 years without a lost time safety incident. They were recognized by the Arkansas Department of Labor's Accumulative Safety Award for going over 10 years, and just a huge accomplishment. It's hazardous work. We've got a lot of people performing it, and to achieve that's a great accomplishment. So I just want to just to close, congratulations to the City of Fayetteville and everyone involved with this major, important project. And we're excited to have the opportunity to help prove the success of this technology and achieve all the goals set out by the city. Thank you.
If you don't know, you should know that BlueInGreen is a homegrown company. Started right here. It was the idea and the vision and the hard work of a couple of our professors at the University of Arkansas, and it began to grow and take root in our research technology park, which was just created for that very reason, so the very best of ideas could percolate to the top, eventually to the market, and then to the world. I'm going to introduce Cleet Brewer here in a second, but I should tell you this about BlueInGreen, if you do not know this. There's a group in the world that has a conference they call GTEC. The group principally is directed by two organizations. One's called the Club Madrid. The Club Madrid is made up of about 150 past world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, kings from all over the world. and then there's a P80 group, which are the 80 largest public investment funds in the world, whether they be retirement funds or whatever they may be. That organization and those two organizations came together a few years ago to say, actually in Little Rock, to say we need to bring to the world, global, the technology changes that can be implemented today that change the world today. And each year they hold a competition to find the very best in the world. Blue and Green was that company last year in the world. Now, I'm real biased about their chairman, Clete Brewer. He is a longtime Northwest Arkansas person. He's been committed to Northwest Arkansas on a number of business endeavors, all of which have made Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas and Arkansas a better community and better state. And the good thing about Clete Brewer, he's a lot like Lionel Jordon. He never runs out of passion, and he never seems to run out of energy. So would you welcome Clete Brewer, the chairman of Blue and Green?
I want to first say thank you to Dr. Scott Osborne. You raise your hand. He was one of the inventors and original founders for being here. Marty Matlock was the other inventor and co-founder of Blue and Green, and then Vic Technologies helped form a company 10 years ago, I believe, Vic's also out of Fayetteville, to create Blue and Green and go get NIS grants and grants to allow them to be able to grow and add capital and people. I gotta thank the city of Fayetteville first and foremost, because 10 years ago they bought the very first system before we were really ready to sell it, I believe. I wasn't here. Scott and Marty sold it. When two engineers are able to sell something without a sales guy, we know we're in trouble. So they sold the very first technology that went here in this basin that I'm now standing on, that actually helped them get dissolved oxygen to levels that were safe and met the DEQ's permit levels in a much more efficient manner. So that's kind of how it all got started. How we got to today, where we now have 30 plus installations, hopefully 50 by the end of the year, is people like Jessica Hart. Will you stand up, Jessica? She's our product manager for HyDOZ. Without her, this doesn't happen, and it really doesn't happen without our CEO, Chris Milligan, who so hates microphones and speeches that he decided to go to China this week so that I could be here talking today. So he's in Shanghai working on a very large environmental project there that could be very big for us, so we're excited about that. The city of Fayetteville, Mayor Jordon, Don Marr, Tim Nyander, and of course Steve Clark really helped us as we were looking at this, but it all really started with Ewan, Tim Luther, Billy Ammons, and the team here at this plant. When we came here, we started working. The first pilot was terrible. I'm surprised they asked us to continue, but they did. So again, innovation starts with the city of Fayetteville, but it also starts with the operators here at this plant and the risk they took with us as we developed this technology and refined it here. And I'm pleased to say today that I think your DO is flowing out the effluent to 16 parts per million at the low end. So all you other cities and Tyson guys I see here, we'd love to talk to you about your water treatment. Alan, we can actually get it permitted today. She's here today. We're ready to get going on the next project. But no, in all thankfulness, we're thankful for everybody, but CH2M has taken a lot of innovative steps in working with us. And without the mayor's support, it doesn't get there, but it takes a village or a city to make something like this happen. So we want to, on behalf of all the employees of Blue and Green, and the founders and the investors, which some may be here as well. I see one over there with his arms folded, so hopefully he's happy. We really appreciate you and appreciate your support. But the operators here, when I heard that it's working well and everybody's happy, that's the main thing. That makes life go very smoothly for all of us at Blue and Green and for the city and for all of its citizens. So thank you very much.
I now have the privilege of introducing the project manager, Lauren Bryan from J.L. Bronson. Lauren?
J.L. Bryson is a local construction company that has been around for 25 years, and we look for and excel in unique projects that very few people have done or even want to do. And I want to thank the city of Fayetteville, CH2M, and Blue and Green for giving J.L. Bryson the opportunity to be the contractor on this project. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be a part of a first in our great state of Arkansas. And in our experience in ozone installations, it has become apparent that ozone is a very key and necessary part of the future in our treatment plants. And I commend Fayetteville and CH2M and Blue and Green for pushing this first. And a little bit about the construction of this project. In an oxygen and ozone system, it is essential that our piping and our equipment out here be very, very clean. And it's a long and detailed process. And I have good memories now, and maybe they weren't good memories then, but of Jessica and Chris that we've already heard of long nights and weekends, and our employees at J.L. Bryson and the maintenance department here of spending so much time and effort into making sure that everything was just perfect, because it had to be perfect so that this would operate like it should. And there are a few people here that were essential in the construction of this, and I really want to recognize the maintenance department. I think I was over there in that building every day asking them questions and having them come look at something, and I very much appreciate their help. And also on the other end of the plant, the operations, there are several over here that I spoke with every day and asked questions, and y'all's workability was very critical, and I appreciate it very much. And one more person I want to thank is and recognize is Mr. Lynn Hike, the Fayetteville's construction manager. And without his guidance and knowledge and humor, I can't speak enough of how invaluable that was on this project. And also our employees at J.L. Bryson, the blood and the sweat, the tears, the heart and the soul that we put into making this project. And I'm very proud of your work and your care. And so thank you to the City of Fayetteville and to CH for letting us to be a part of this project.
There are several groups in the audience today that we need to recognize. Our city council played a part in this role, and for those folks, we appreciate their participation. We had help and support from our congressional delegation and from our state delegation to the legislature. We appreciate them. We wouldn't be here at all today if it weren't for Beaver Water District and Beaver Lake and the founding citizens of this region who saw the importance of creating that resource for us and then getting it created, and from there then cherishing it, honoring it, respecting it, and keeping it what it is today. So Alan, for you and all of your team, a great big thank you, because we're in the top 5 metro areas in the country, and one of the biggest reasons is Beaver Water District and all that it does for us. Also, the Illinois River Watershed Partnership, the Beaver Watershed Alliance, and the Watershed Conservation Resource. Those organizations are not only active and advocates, but they are true believers in the fact that everything starts with water, and they are correct. I spent the last 2 days in D.C. Talking about what happens if we get a big public works bill, and people were talking about infrastructure, highways and airports and railroads, and I said, please listen to me, water is an infrastructure part of that definition, an element of infrastructure. Without water, you won't need airports and highways and railroads, because there won't be anybody there to take advantage of them. And so as we move forward, and I said to them, I told them the story of Blue and Green, I told them the story of this dedication coming up today, and I said, and we're thrilled that we have a 50-year reserve. We just need 50 more. And so we're looking that far ahead as to where we want to be. But without those folks from the Illinois River Watershed, the Beaver Watershed, and that Watershed Conservation Group, we wouldn't be anywhere, because they help us adopt and put in place those policies that the mayor has led on with the streamside ordinance and those things to give us the chance to have wonderful, clean drinking water. So on behalf of the Fayetteville, we want to thank everybody here on the Fayetteville Chamber, because we as businesses and advocates for business and growth know it wouldn't happen but for you, and without you it would not occur. I often say when I speak that I can't guarantee you that living in Fayetteville is going to add years to your life, but I can absolutely guarantee you that living in Fayetteville is going to add life to your years. That's starting today with this system. And so I have a 9-year-old granddaughter, and I promise you, when we cut this ribbon today and the dedication of this facility and the brilliance of the leadership of our mayor and our elected officials and of our city staff and others to see the importance of this, and Blue and Green to create these kind of innovation for us, she has a really bright future for her life, and I'm going to do my best to make sure she's here for all those years and not wandering off someplace else, because she's going to find there's no place else any better. The last person I will get to introduce is the director of the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality. And you should know that my script ends with quality director, and there couldn't be more appropriate words for Becky Keogh. She not only is a quality director because she's an engineer, she's a quality director because she knows to find the way to yes. She knows it's important to protect those resources that are most important to us, but she knows it's equally as important that we have to get to yes, because we are growing and we are changing and the world is changing. And so change must come, and to get to change you have to take innovative ideas and innovative products and make them a part of the mainstream so that we can achieve the things that we want to achieve as a community and as a region, as a state. So let me introduce the Quality Director of ADEQ, Becky Keogh.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you to all the officials here this morning. I'm proud to be here on behalf of the state, on behalf of Governor Asa Hutchinson, who I know is very pleased and congratulates the City of Fayetteville on this great accomplishment. It's a pleasure to be here today, and what a humbling introduction. I think I'll let Steve introduce me everywhere. So anyway, but I heard a comment earlier. I did wear my blue sunglasses for your blue water up here too, but I just wanted to say that I heard a comment about I wanted to thank you for loving Arkansas, and I know you love Fayetteville, but I know hopefully like me, who returned to the state to take on this role for Governor Hutchinson and for the people of Arkansas. I love Arkansas. It's been home. It's my birthplace. It's where I went to school and received my engineering degree, and I look forward to my years and my family's years here in the state. We've raised children and now have the opportunity now to enjoy those grandchildren that we love so much. So, but thank you, Mayor Jordon, Chief of Staff Mars, for your leadership. And I'll tell you, when we talk about loving the state and loving Arkansas, it takes me back to a visit I made a few weeks ago to the White House myself on the infrastructure discussion. And what an honor that was to be invited. The governor received a call inviting Arkansas to be at a table of about 20 individuals from across the country to advise the White House and the policy advisors to the president on what was critical and what could help make infrastructure transformational in the U.S. And a key component of that obviously is financing, but the other key component, which we talked about, was regulatory reform, and how that's so important that we get it right, that the environment is protected, but we do find ways to say yes to these critical projects that will lead us forward. So thank you, Steve, for that insight. But I remember in the introductions, I was sitting there with economic development directors and highway commissioners, and as a single representative of an environmental regulatory agency, we were invited because we were being recognized in Arkansas for our regulatory reform and our governor's leadership on that. So what an honor, but what a tribute to the people of Arkansas that we have a will and we find a way to make that happen. And but I recall him saying to the rest of the crowd, I know this stuff is a little boring and a little technical, you know, and I was sitting there going, I am in the room, guys. But, you know, at the end he said, but it is so impactful. as Steve mentioned. It is impactful what we do here. And so those of you that work in this facility and work across our state to advance infrastructure such as this, and particularly driving continuous improvement in infrastructure, I applaud you for your efforts. And I know, just so you know, it's being acknowledged and recognized not only at the state level, but now by the White House and those in leadership in Congress. So thanks so much. But I wanted to also thank Chief of Staff Mars, who I have had a long-term conversation with on City of Fayetteville, and I appreciate the leadership he has offered as well in protecting environment and public health. And thanks to you, Tim, for your leadership over at the Utilities Director and CH2M and Blue and Green team, who I'm getting to know well, and I hope to get to know more about for making this possible. As you know, Arkansas is the natural state, as we call it, and we at ADQ are committed daily to our advanced mission of protecting, restoring, and enhancing the natural environment to the well-being of Arkansans and Arkansas citizens. Through Governor Asa Hutchinson's leadership, ADQ has a vision to protect air, land, and water resources while advancing environmentally responsible economic development. And we stand behind that commitment and vision in a number of ways. Under Governor Asa Hutchinson, ADQ has worked to advance simplification in our work, streamline our regulatory initiatives and programs, advance technology to provide more certainty, increase the value added of our environmental programs, and reduce cost of environmental programs to state and to communities and those that are regulated. You know, recent elections, both at the state and national level, endorse that the citizens of our state and our country want to transform what we do in government. As a state, we are truly in an interesting and exciting time, we believe, and we want to invite all of you to the powerful conversation that we get to have, and that we have such a special time right now on how to frame our environmental future. And I think this is one step forward in this journey. We are committed to a response that combines constitutional-based cooperative federalism and collaborative approaches such as this one that recognize states, local government, citizens, and our industries can be viewed more as partners rather than pawns or polluters, and we want to move forward in that partnership. The collaboration we celebrate today is such a great example of a successful public-private partnership using innovative technology. It meets one of the governor's primary goals that he set forth for Arkansas and ADQ, championing technology, specifically the use of innovative technology over rote regulation to achieve and sustain the environment and to drive continuous improvement. This combination of ozonation for disinfection and oxygen supersaturation is a clear commitment to the protection of the White River and ultimately to Beaver Lake. During the last General Assembly, at the recommendation of Governor Asa Hutchinson, the Arkansas Energy Office was realigned also as part of the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality, moving a team of energy efficiency professionals to join us at ADQ to further enhance that energy and environment nexus for Arkansas. So in this new role, I want to take also the opportunity to acknowledge another win-win. This technology, as I understand it, reduces the energy requirements at this facility for the technology it replaces. It also adds critical excess oxygen to the river and provides exceptional disinfection as required to protect public health and use in our streams. Further, it goes beyond current regulatory requirements to further reduce risk to the environment. It's effective in destruction of emerging contaminants such as endocrine disruptors or hormones, also while improving the aesthetic quality of the stream and reducing color. It sets what I call a, quote, clear and clean standard for future delivery of exceptional water and wastewater treatment systems. This plant continues to be operated as one of our bright and shining examples of environmental leadership in Arkansas, and I commend the City of Fayetteville for the commitment and the citizens for their investment in these projects. This exceptional performance with the effluent continuously far below permitted limits has resulted because public and private partners such as yourselves came together to champion innovation technology as a solution. And I call to your attention, the governor believes so much in technology that last year he established our own state award that we recognize technology advances, hopefully those homegrown in Arkansas, that benefit the environment as well. We call it our Techie Award, and the governor presented its inaugural award last year. We presented the second award this year, and we look forward to technologies like this being advanced and encouraged and promoted. And one of the key components is developing technologies that can transform and transfer to other utilities across our great state. So I bring that to your attention. We combine that award with our traditional Envy Award, so perhaps Blue and Green could even be the envy of Arkansas if they so chose to nominate themselves. The Environmental Stewardship Award, which looks at communities. I know City of Fayetteville has received that award through their efforts in many ways. Also, now this year we've started an E-Squared Award, which will promote energy effectiveness in our communities and businesses. But anyway, I wanted to end that, and that was just a plug to encourage those of you in the audience that have technology and innovations that we can learn from to please participate in that state honor program and in a newly formed environmental excellence program that has been endorsed by the Arkansas General Assembly, and you'll hear more on that to come. So thank you again for a job well done, for your clear dedication to protection and enhancements of the waters of the state. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to end this Chamber of Commerce Day with a ribbon cutting. So with those people with those purple jackets, come up here. Those are our diplomats from our chamber. These are people who go way above and beyond to help us recognize the achievements of business in our city and our our region. And we've got a ribbon, and we're going to do it below us or up here? Shauna, are we going to do it up here? Oh, we look like we're doing it up here. So if you would like to come up and be a part of this picture, come on up here and join us.
The intention of the system is to disinfect the wastewater and also supersaturate it with oxygen so that the water going into the receiving stream has plenty of oxygen, actually a lot more than it would typically have, which is great for the environment, and also intended to remove some of those emerging contaminants that are of concern in the future. Not necessarily things that are regulated today, but some of those things that are of concern in the future.
You've heard the ozone system is a first for the state of Arkansas in wastewater treatment, and it's a departure from the conventional disinfection systems of either chlorine or ultraviolet disinfection. What we're doing in Fayetteville is preparing for the future for the emerging contaminants such as pharmaceuticals and the type of toxins that the conventional disinfection won't remove.
Fayetteville now has the cleanest wastewater disinfectant discharge and their effluent water that goes back into the White River than any other city in the state of Arkansas. So I think that's the biggest thing. The ozone system, the HyDOZ system we installed, disinfects water. It's a very radical disinfection. It does a great job, but it also cleans the water. It gives it a much more clearer look. It gets emergent contaminants of concern, and it manages the EPA mandated fecal and E. coli down to levels below their permit level, actually extremely low levels. So those are the benefits that the cities get. Is also there's economic savings for the plant in that this system does two things at once. It disinfects and it meets their dissolved oxygen level permits, which are some of the highest in the state. So they get two birds with one stone with our system. We're really excited about the City of Fayetteville, their adoption of this technology. The City of Fayetteville's always been one of the forefronts in environmental quality and technologies, and the fact that we're a Fayetteville-based company only, I think, was a cherry on top for Mayor Jordon and Don Marr and his staff there.
The citizens be excited because it helps take a lot of the pollutants and contaminants out of our water that goes through this plant and eventually goes into our streams and things. So it's a great system. It started with XDOX, and it was a really great system that we were looking at back in 2006 when I was on the Water Sewer Committee. And since I've been mayor, now we're doing HyDOX, which is a level up, which actually takes more contaminants out of the streams and helps treat our water faster and better for the citizens. And it's good for the business community. So it helps the business community, it helps our environment, it helps certainly our water quality, and it's great for the people all the way around. So it's a great day for us, and I'm real excited.